Good Saturday morning, everybody, or evening,
Hello.
or wherever you are.
That's right. Wherever you
our,
are,
our, our guest today is actually in the evening time. So
wherever you are in the metal universe.
there you go, Middle Universe. There we go.
We
But
all live in a metal universe. Well, I wish we all did. I wish everybody did,
well, it
but
would
then it
probably,
wouldn't. But then it wouldn't be as special. So
probably be a lot better world. But
I would
uh,
think
I
the
mean, if
music
you
would
ask us,
definitely
of
better.
course,
Would
we
be
are
better.
partial, but
We
so
are we are biased,
yeah,
unabashedly and unashamedly biased.
yeah, right, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
we
I
don't
guess
really we don't really
if
hide it here. So
if you guys have been following us, our socials throughout the week, you do know that we do have a guest today. Uh, so all the way from Belgium today.
yes. Return of Europe to the Metalheads Unite podcast.
That's
So
right. Yeah, and we have I didn't even ask him beforehand because I forgot when I was doing this
I
write
know
up,
exactly where you're
and
going.
we didn't ask which Tim he
I
was.
know. Yeah, I know because I know exactly where you were going with that. As soon as you started saying the sentences, like, yeah, we gotta, we'll
I,
have
for,
to.
I forgot they got two Tims and two Kennys in the band, so
That's right.
it was like that's kind of well we'll probably talk to him a little bit about that, but I'm sure that's kind of hard. Like, hey, Kenny, hey,
What? Yeah.
which
Huh?
one? Oh man. But we'll bring Tim in from Sanity's Rage. So if you're not familiar with that band, get familiar with them. I did the
Yes.
album review. I think 2 weeks ago it was. We did
Uh-huh.
the album review for that, and awesome record. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So let's
Yes, we
bring
are.
Tim in here. Hey Tim, how's it going?
Tim,
Hi, I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Good,
we're
good.
good.
So I guess we'll start out by which Tim are we talking to?
Yeah, it gets confusing from time to time. So we, like you said, we have two Tims, we have two Kennys, and we
Yeah.
have one Sam. So
Yep.
he's a minority in our band.
Am I-
Yeah, but we love
You
him.
just
We
you
love him,
just
of
you just
course.
gotta give him a nickname, and it's got to be Tim or Kenny. So
yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah. We should name everyone Tim.
yeah, that's right.
yes,
Yeah, worldwide.
Yeah.
right.
Well, that Timothy's actually my first name, so I'm good with that.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's not mine, so let's just stick to Tim.
it's just
Yeah. So I'm Tim. I'm the guitar player. The
okay.
other Tim
Okay.
is the bass player of the band. Yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. So yeah,
What's funny is you got two Tims, two Kennys, and four of you do vocals.
that's
Yeah. Exactly.
right.
The only thing Sam does is he's got one name and he plays drums. That's all he does.
That's right.
Yeah, but he's very good at it.
Oh, he's
He is. He is
exceptionally
very
good at
good.
it.
Yeah, as you might know, he's the latest addition to the band.
Yep.
So we were really extremely glad to have him on board because he has really enriched our music, and it's been really fun writing this new album with him. To be honest.
So I guess we could start there. Is kind of what happened with the previous drummer to have to get Sam in here to
Yeah.
help you guys out.
Yeah, well, we got back together. I mean, I'm sure we'll be talking about the big hiatus
Oh yeah.
later on in the show. But we got back together shortly before this whole COVID shit broke out. So we had been playing rehearsals, been playing a few shows, and one night we had a show in Germany, and it was a good show. It was not spectacular, but we felt something was odd with Christoph, another name with a K, but not a Kenny. Yeah, the day after he contacted us and said that he hadn't slept at all because of lower back pains, something he had been suffering with for a longer period of time, but he never actually talked to us about it. So it was a big surprise for us, to be honest. So we talked to him, trying to convince him, to give it another shot, and then everything you do to keep someone on board, obviously. But he had been suffering from these lower back pains for a longer period of time, and he felt that that it had an influence on his drumming, especially in his legs. He couldn't move his left leg like he wanted, and the music, so
Yep.
We're playing double bass or double kick at 200 BPM. So you need that left leg. Yeah,
You know,
Yeah, you do, man.
yeah,
Those.
he actually said, yeah, I have to quit the band because I can't get up to speed anymore, and yeah, it's for his health mainly, but
yeah.
also kind of not to keep the band back from growing and evolving. Yeah,
Mhm.
Man, that really sucks to have to go through something like that.
yeah,
But the funny thing is I actually can relate. I actually do have lower back problems of my own, and I don't play an instrument, but I mean, especially when it comes to your core,
hmm,
just your core functionability, and then everything from the waist down. Because I mean, I would ironically enough, I was actually in the kitchen making dinner the other night, and we have an island, and I went to turn around, and I bumped my right hip just on the corner of the island, and it knocked my pelvis over to the left just enough, and I just stopped dead in my tracks, and it was everything I could do to keep myself from falling over. Because I mean, when you got something wrong with you in that area, I mean, just it doesn't take much for just the nerve in your one of your legs to
yeah,
just
exactly.
drop you to your knees
Yeah,
and just so. But I mean, just for a drummer, I can only imagine. And then especially like you said, having to try to play at the pace that you guys do,
mhm.
and then but to have something like that to where your mind and your spirit are willing, but your body just won't let you. Ugh, man,
Yeah,
I hate that for him, especially like I say, because I literally feel for him. So it's
yeah, and
that's a
we're
tough
all
leg.
getting older, so that's not helping.
Yeah, that's right.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Yeah. And the thing is that gets harder to cope with as you get older too.
Mhm.
I've been dealing with it for, let's see, for like 20 some odd years. For me it's an old hockey injury, but I mean
Okay.
it's just one of those things, man. It doesn't take much. And hell, one time my back went out. I just getting out of bed. I was getting out of bed. The next thing I know, took one step, my leg went nope, and I was on the floor. So yeah,
That also sounds like a good night out, to be honest.
it, it all depends on your perspective, and well, and context too. So
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so that was, I mean, it was a big blow to all of us, obviously, because we had our plans of writing new songs, and we had already released our song "Sanity's Rage" at the time. So he played the drums on that song, apparently with a lot of pain. So that was hard, and it's hard to miss any of the guys in the band, but the drummer is a bit of the backbone
Mhm.
of the
yeah.
band. So we had to find a replacement that was at least as good as he was, which we have eventually. As we said, Sam is a great drummer, great guy. So we're extremely lucky and happy to have him in the band.
So talking about that, how hard is it to like replace people? Like, is there like a abundance of musicians there that you can kind of choose from, or is it kind of you have to kind of seek out those things?
Well, we actually we have actually known Sam for like 20 years.
Oh, okay.
We've all been playing in bands, but we never played together. I actually played with him in a band as a bass player years ago, 15, 20 years ago, I think. So we did know each other, but we never hoped that he would want to become part of Sanity's Rage. And he never had hoped to be asked to be the drummer for Sanity's Rage. So we kind of found each other, and we're both equally happy with each other. So it's wonderful. We had a few drummers that auditioned for us. We had one with an enormous speed, but hardly any feeling, and then we had someone with a lot of feeling, but not enough speed.
Oh damn.
So yeah. So there was always something missing until we got a call from Sam saying that he wanted to try out and play a few songs with us.
That's pretty good. I was just wondering because, like, I know we talked to some bands over in Europe, and I know in
Mhm.
certain areas over there, it's kind of hard for. They were saying it's kind of hard to find replacements once you
Yeah,
got a member that's having to leave for some odd reason, and
yeah.
so I didn't know how kind of I guess the drummer pool, how thick it is over there. So
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not too thick, to be honest.
yeah,
Certainly, drummers of a certain level. I mean, us as guitar players, you will find guitar players that are equally good and even a lot better. But for drummers, yeah, it's a small pool to go
yeah,
fishing in.
yeah. And
It
that's
see
I think.
it seems to be the issues with drummers and bass players too.
Mhm.
It just seems to be just one of those things where it's because I mean even over here we've had some of our guests over here on this side,
Mhm.
and that's been kind of the holdup. One of our actually our very first guest. Do you remember John? Jason, remember John telling us that they were
Oh yeah,
having
yeah,
issues finding a
yeah.
bass player? So yeah, it just seems like there are certain things that just seem to be harder to come by, especially with the talent level that bands are searching for. Because I mean,
Mhm.
like you said, you had one factor but not the other, and then I'm sure at some point, it also becomes how well do they play, but also. I'm sure, and I've never been through this, but when you guys are auditioning members, I'm sure there's also like a certain how does he sound and can he keep up, and then almost but is you're looking for a certain vibe. It's like how does
Yeah,
it do we feel like this is the right guy?
yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean
You
there's
have
all
like two
sorts of
hours to make sense of that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost kind of like it's almost like more or less like a snap decision, because I mean you're
Mhm.
going through however many guys you end up having coming in, 10, 12, whatever it is, 20, the prospect pool as it were, and then you got to really be like, okay, yeah, yay or nay. You got to do like the Holy Roman Empire thing. You got to
Yeah.
put your thumb up in the air, like yes or no. So it's one of those. It's could
Yeah.
because it's something that could affect the chemistry of the band. And like you say,
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
just had somebody who didn't want to leave but had
Mhm.
to,
I had to,
and
exactly.
you
Yeah.
guys were like, we hate to lose you but we understand, and he's like, oh, well, I don't want to leave and thank you for understanding. So I mean it's just like, then it's you have this cloud over your head. It's like, well, what do we do to replace this member that we didn't want to lose, who didn't want to leave but had no choice?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like you said, you have to make snap decisions for a future of the band,
Mhm.
because right now we've become five good friends making music and enjoying ourselves and having fun. But you could also turn out to be a band that has four good friends and a drummer.
Yep.
And I don't know if that would have worked as it did in creating this new album.
Yeah.
Well,
And we was talking about in the beginning of the show about the hiatus, and that's kind of where I was going to go from there was to talk about you guys. So they're showing you guys formed in like 2002.
Hmm.
So we want to walk us through how like the formation of the band actually took place, or
All right, so you want me to go back 25 years?
to the best of your
Yeah,
ability.
okay. I can hardly remember what I ate last night, but I'll do it.
yeah.
No, we were actually all of us were in other bands at the time, but all of us were also searching or looking to do something else in the thrash kind of metal. Because I was in this black death metal band, and then our singer likewise actually. And it was through some mutual friends that we actually got to know each other and ended up in a garage in our hometown, and we started playing some songs, of which Apocalypse was the actual first song that we completely finished, one from the EP, the Rager one.
Oh, nice.
And that's actually how we started off, and we started writing from there. And immediately we felt that we had the same vibe, the same interests in music, same bands that we liked at the time, and still do actually. So that first EP kind of came natural by jamming and by playing in a garage, very old school.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty. That's the kind of the American the American version of almost
Yeah,
every band over
it
here.
really
So.
is. Yeah. Yeah, just getting together at somebody's house and seeing,
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
exactly. Yeah,
throwing stuff at the wall and see if anything sticks. Yeah.
Yep.
exactly.
So did you guys put out the EP in '06, and then you had a 6 year difference between that and the full length? What was there issues with like getting getting it recorded, or what was the issue with the 6 year hiatus for the first little hiatus there?
Yeah. So after that first EP, which was well received, I mean, we had this distribution deal in Germany, so our EP became available throughout Europe actually at the time, um, and we felt that we were getting some differences in what we wanted to do with the band. Not really the kind of music that we wanted to play, but more like how much do we want to play? What venues do we want to play? Um, and we felt more and more disagreements there. And eventually, between 2006 and 2012, if you look at the lineup of "You Are What You Swallow," which was released in 2012. I think only the singer remained. I wasn't there anymore. I know. I think I was the first one that left or got kicked out. Let's be honest, out of the band.
Oh, okay.
No hard feelings anymore. Absolutely not. But
Okay.
yeah, yeah, it was differences in opinion about what we wanted to do and how far we wanted to go with the band at the time that led to departures within the band. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So then, then the kind of the story we go with the full length, and then of course nothing kind of until the new album in
Mhm.
2025, which was a 13 year difference, and I guess
Yeah.
that kind of explains the gap there is if everybody kind of went their separate ways, and I guess they just kind of it was kind of really on a hiatus, where until so what brought you guys? I guess you said the COVID kind of thing kind of brought you guys back together, I guess, but who initiated the I guess the rebirth of Sanity's Rage.
Well, after having released "You're What You Swallow" in 2012, the band actually took off, and eventually in 2015 had a spot on Metal Days in Slovenia,
Oh, nice.
and that would have been nice, but
Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately, it was a major personal setback from our singer Kenny. His wife had a brain aneurysm,
Oh,
ended
Oh
up
man.
in a coma for weeks, and had to start from scratch. Had to learn everything again. So a lot of time went into caring for her, and that was time and energy that just couldn't be put in a band, obviously. Unfortunately, the band at the time, of which none of the current members were a part, kind of dropped him. And just yeah, small anecdote. The show in Slovenia um, was going to happen, and our vocalist said, "Well, as hard as it is, I do want to play the show because it's a major opportunity for us as a band. But I do need someone to just drive me back home immediately after because my wife is still in coma, still recovering,
Mhm.
and that seemed impossible to the rest of the band. So then he concluded, okay, well, this is the end of Sanity's Rage at the time because this is not a group of friends playing together.
Right.
These are musicians that want to play Slovenia and just want to hang out for 3 more days afterwards instead of returning home with me to my wife, who is in very bad medical condition at the time.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
that's
so they actually disbanded at that moment. That was 2015, yeah. And then we Kenny started playing in Tensor, another band, a bit more
mhm.
death metal, technical style. And it was yeah, and I started doing other projects, and we all had other bands, and we ran into each other, and it was after a few beers talking about what would be really cool if we could get Sanity's Rage back together. A few beers, and everyone says, "Oh, let's do it."
you're right.
Yeah, so we did, but unfortunately, it was a bad timing. 2019, 2020,
Right.
worst
Hmm.
time to start or reunite a band, obviously. Yeah. So the second hiatus actually had a more profound reason. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it's always we I think these things kind of like help the fans, and I think that's kind of like what we do this for is because everybody just I guess they have a an imagery of what a rock star is, and people don't realize that it's not always a glamorous life. It's,
A lot of
you know,
work.
yeah. I mean, of
Yeah, yeah,
course they
and
do a
we
lot of
we
work.
read these reviews where people say, and I mean, it's a we take it as a compliment. You know, people saying we really hope it doesn't take another 13 years for another album to come out.
Right.
You know, but they don't know the story behind it. So
Right.
we read that sentence in another way than other people would. They'd be
Mhm.
like, but they had a 6 year hiatus and then a 13-year hiatus. How long is it going to take now? But there's an intriguing story.
Right.
Unfortunately, there's a big story behind it. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Well, I mean, even because I mean, we can go back and we talked to Richie Cavallera from Insight a while
Mhm.
back, and like even him being in the band as long as he feels like they're just now clicking. So I mean,
Hmm.
it's crazy to hear somebody like, oh, we've been making music 20 years, but we're just now clicking.
Yeah.
He's just now found like you know everybody in their respective musical instrument. He's found the perfect person for each spot for the sound he's looking for.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy to think, oh man, it took him 20 years to find it. But I mean, it happens. I mean, uh, you know,
Yeah,
it's,
and I do understand what he's talking about because it's a feeling that we actually have now. As much as we loved all the previous guys that were in the band, obviously, and our drummer who had to quit, but the lineup as it is now, I mean, we just released it. What is it like 3 weeks, 2 weeks ago,
yeah, I think it
and
was
we're
eight.
already talking about new music, so that's a good sign.
Oh wow. Well,
That's
I
awesome.
mean,
Yeah.
So it's not going to take a 13 more years,
yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. So, like I said, I hear bands like you guys, and the reason we do this is because you guys were new to us at the time,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
and then we start looking at the background, and that's one of the things that I was telling Chris when I said, man, this is so good. I need to know why because
Right.
this shit's awesome, dude. Like I
Yeah.
don't understand why I would, but like you said, we don't know as a fan.
Right.
That's why we like to hear the explanation straight from the source, and it's all understandable now that we know.
Hmm.
It's like, oh yeah, that's understandable why you don't, why you had those hiatuses.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. It pretty much usually comes down to something extenuating because for a band that's been, of course, for a band that's been around for 20 plus years at this point, with the exception of those pauses, whether they're forced or unforced, because no one, hell, no one could have done anything about the pandemic happening. I mean,
Nope.
it crippled all of us, in some form or fashion. But for a band that made a name for themselves over 20 years ago, you see a timeline, the evolution of a band from start to the present, and you're like, you can usually tell it's one of those things. It's like, well, we didn't purposely go 13 years between our first and
you're
second album.
right.
It's definitely not lack of desire or anything like that. But we still, like Jason said, we still like to get the background on everything because you know like you just said, Tim, you read reviews and people are like, well, why did it take so long? Because, and, because like people like to give Metallica shit and people are, even people in, even the guys in Tool themselves are like, we can't wait so long to put out another album because we're in our 60s now, so I mean, you get to a point where it's like, okay, we can't keep dragging our feet for whatever reason, so
Hmm.
people like to shit on Metallica for taking so long in between albums and stuff like that. But I mean, when you see a band that just came out with something like you guys did and then you take a look back, it's like, all right, well, there was 6 years here and there was 13 years there. Let's just get the story, just for clarity's sake,
Yeah.
because in
Well, we know the metal community is probably one of the most unforgiving fans too.
yeah, they can be.
They love their genre. Don't get me wrong, but man, are they
They
like
can, they can be they can be ruthless.
yeah,
They
this
can be
is-
ruthless, but which is unfair because
it is.
you got, and Devil Driver just went through it not too long ago because Des Fafara's wife was sick. But I mean, when you have real world and real life issues creep up, then especially with family, then hey, everything else needs to take a back seat.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When time permits and things settle down, we'll get together and make more music because this. Bands get together to make music and play music. So it's one of those things where they're like, we don't want to not make music,
No,
but
absolutely.
you know, you had a drummer who felt like he couldn't play drums anymore, so he had to step aside, and then your vocalist had an illness in the family. So I mean, and when people get pissed at bands for taking a break or taking a step back or somebody leaving for real world reasons like that, when we see it and when we talk about it on the show, we get super pissed on behalf of the bands, because there's like,
Right.
how the hell are you going to be pissed at somebody for taking care of their personal business?
Yeah.
I mean, get the hell over yourself. I mean,
Yeah, and
how
small
selfish
bands,
are you? I mean,
like Sanity's Rage. I mean, we have day jobs, so we have to go to work,
Right.
right?
and we get home, and then the smallest one has a soccer practice, the other one has to go swimming.
Oh yeah.
We're not 16, 17 years old anymore, so as
Right.
soon as I can, I will pick up my guitar and start playing. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that's late at night, so
Yep. And then
that's
you
real
got
life.
to, yeah, and then
It doesn't sound cool. I get it, but
well, I mean, I mean, despite what a lot of people might think, being a responsible adult is a pretty cool thing. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. But from
Well,
perspective of playing music and being a rock star, you know,
well, we've talked about how that's kind of changed over the years too, where we grew up in the sex, drugs, and rock and roll type rock star imagery, where nowadays it's more of I see a lot of bands talking about, oh man, we just go back to the tour bus and play video games, or or whatever the case may be. So it's not really, there's not a lot of bands out there that are considered like the party type bands anymore. So, because times have changed, and that's mainly because they've seen how destructive that has been to previous bands. Probably,
mhm.
I would hope that's why they decide not to do those things. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
so
that,
it's
and
definitely a
I mean,
different.
we have a feeling that also for smaller bands like ourselves, standards have been raised. When you're playing live 20 years ago, you could really get away with a crappy show. That's just impossible these days. So after
Yeah.
a show, you want to take the time to just relax, take care of yourself, in order to be ready for the next show. And with us, that's okay because we usually have a few weeks in between shows. But for bigger bands, I mean, I do understand that they sometimes just want to get in that tour bus. So I do understand, even though it might not be the coolest thing to do after a show. But
well,
Right.
with the way that every little thing can be exposed and dissected and
Mhm.
immediately, oh my God, did you see what happened at the Sanity's Raid show? Or did you hear what happened at the Sanity's Raid show? And then with social media, it spreads like wildfire. And then, so, I mean, hell, the safest thing to do after a show is just go back to the tour bus.
And hide.
Yeah, it's quiet, it's safe, and we can just, move on to the next thing. And
So, so I know you're going to love this, Chris, but it's a wrestling story.
fine.
so I used to be a pro wrestler. So, and one of the things that brought that up to my knowledge of that was, I remember I chewed gum a lot in the ring, and then I was arguing with a fan, and it came out while I was talking to him. Well, the dirt sheets were all putting it out. Oh, an NWA main event. This guy spit on a fan. Like, no, I did not. I did not spit on nobody. Like, what the fuck? So even back then, even before like Facebook and all that stuff was big, you still had dirt sheets that would, like we had magazines. We had Circus and Hit Parader and all that stuff that would tell us stories about rock bands. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of that stuff was hearsay or far fetched, or well, I mean, we do stories now where Loudwire or somebody will put something out and then they'll have to retract it like 2 weeks later because it was not the correct,
Mhm.
it was just something they heard, instead of going in like we're doing now. We didn't like go out and say, oh, well, Sanity's Rage just, it must be explosive with each other or something because they had 13 years. No, I didn't do that. I want to bring you on the show and know what really happened.
Right.
It's
Yep.
like, the thing that kills me is like those publications have the access to go and ask that person, they know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
they
It's what
have
a good
they have
journalist
access
should
to
be
go
doing.
talk to James Hetfield and Dave Mustaine. We don't like, so for you to have that access and then not tell the stories just
Mhm.
blows my mind.
Well, especially tell the stories correctly and fairly.
Right,
So,
right.
Because you gotta, because we're not journalists. I mean, we're just fans, hanging out doing a podcast, and then we have band members who are gracious enough to come on here and talk with us. So I mean, we don't get to go, when we get to go to shows, we don't get to go backstage and rub elbows with the band members and stuff like that. So I mean, everything that we talk about from a quote unquote newsworthy standpoint, I mean, we're taking other outlets at their word. Of course, we're giving them credit because it's only fair, but at the same time, when we do talk about something, we take it at face value that, okay, somebody was there and at least got the information correct. So sometimes sometimes it bites us in the ass too, because we're just trying to pass along news basically, because we're not because like you said, Tim, we have day jobs too. So we kind of put this thing together as we have time, and then on Saturdays it kind of culminates into what everybody gets to see. But when we're pulling what we think is newsworthy stuff to share, I mean, as far as we know, everything written is factual, because news outlets, at least, they're supposed to, fact check and have proofreaders and all this other shit. Cause I mean, I used to work at a newspaper. So I kind of have a little bit of a background on how that shit's supposed to go, but it doesn't always happen that way. So
No, and I'm afraid it happens less and less.
I think you're right.
Things have to get out fast. You can't wait another day to go check sources and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it's all about how many clicks can you get now, and
Exactly.
if Loudwire comes out with a story first, and they're getting all the clicks, and then Metal Hammer's like, oh shit, we missed out.
Yeah.
So I get it, but to me, I mean, personally, if I knew one of those outlets did what they were supposed to and like reached out and then come back 3 days later and be like, okay, well, you heard this on there, but that's not what happened. So then I would have more respect for that publication. That's just me personally. Like, I don't, I know that, like we said in the beginning, a lot of people have short attention spans nowadays. So it's oh, they just want to run. And I mean, you see it with everything, not just music, is, politics or, accidents.
The next election.
It's always something where people just automatically share without even trying to find out, the substance of what's going on. So,
yep.
And I think that's unfortunately, where we are as a society. But we can't really do much about that. But control.
Well, we can make songs about it.
No, that's right.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
Yeah.
Exactly
well, I mean, that's actually kind of it's kind of in the name of the band too.
right. Yeah, exactly.
It's not just in the music; it's in the name of the band.
And as you know, we've been around for nearly 25 years, so it was a bit of a problem back then as well.
Yeah. So there's
always been some form of it. Whether it be television, radio, or.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we have all social medias, but it's always been. I think that's a lot of the problem. Is like a lot of things we see. We always kind of had an idea that those things happened, but now that it's so prominent and stuff, it's like, yeah, we're just going to do it now. We don't care. It's like, wow, it's like so it's definitely a different time than it was 25 years ago for sure.
Absolutely.
So going back, so Kenny actually has been in the band the whole time, the vocalist.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I noticed he didn't have any time frames next to his stuff. I mean, he just had vocals and that was it. And I was like, oh, that's kind of. And I think I talked about this when we were doing the review. I said, I don't know how long he's been in the band, if he was the original or what, but it just says vocals. So
yeah.
Well, he does a lot more than vocals, to be honest. He's a graphic designer, so all our artwork is done by him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That's all his hand. Plus, if you've read the lyrics, he writes them in a way that none of us could ever do, because he's very eloquent, and he has a way of bringing his ideas forward, not only ideas but frustrations and his anger, bringing it forward. We're always making fun of him because when he comes to rehearsal with his file of new lyrics, we're always guessing, was it like 5 pages this time, 6 pages? How many syllables did you collect this time? But on the other hand, I mean, if you read the lyrics, we love them. They're magnificent, they're very well thought out, and he's a great songwriter as he does. Yeah.
So that's kind of probably from his perspective, after everything that happened with his wife, kind of made him realize that, okay, maybe we should have kept the original members in this thing going. because as you said, he realized that he wasn't as good of friends with that set of a group of people that was in the band at the time. So
Yeah, and he also, there's also something he said. These guys were had a different background. We have always, as metalheads, been into thrash more or less.
Hmm.
I mean, we've had different influences, which is clear on the new album as well. But thrash has always been like the common thing we had, and in the lineup in which they recorded "You're What You Swallow," the guys that were in there, the new stuff that they were writing, which would have been a follow up to "You Are What You Swallow," was actually going away from thrash metal, and that's also one of the things that made Kenny, the vocalist Kenny,
Hmm.
uh, say this is not the kind of music or the path that I want to go with Sanity's Rage. And when we started meeting each other again a few years ago, that came up, along with the fact that it was clear that after so many years, we still had so much in common. There were no grudges at all. Yeah, it was love, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good
hell,
to hear.
Yeah,
there's
It's good to hear
nothing
that.
wrong with that at all.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to hear that you guys can, kind of rekindle a friendship after so many years too. I think that's awesome. So,
Well, and the funny thing is it's just one of those things where you're talking about we've talked about it already a few times about how long the band has actually been around. Whether or not it's been
Mhm.
active at the very very moment is one thing, but the band's been around 20 some odd years, and it's one of those things where when a band first starts, talking about a timeline like that, you're talking about 2002. Everyone is everyone's younger, and everyone is can kind of be impetuous, and stuff happens, and it's one of those things where, okay, we're friends and everything, and we're in this band, and just right now you pick member X, Y, or Z, and it's just like right now this isn't something I can focus on, or
Mhm.
right now maybe this thing isn't jiving between the 4 or 5 of us, however many people in the band. For right now, maybe the best thing is for us to kind of part ways for whatever reason,
Mhm.
whatever happens. But that doesn't mean that when you part ways, you're pissed at each other, you want to throw shit at each other. Of course, it does happen. Of course, we've all heard stories, but it doesn't mean that as time goes by and people get older and things kind of like work themselves out, that in the instance that you guys had, that things can't come together and everything just, okay, now is the time where all 4 of us, 5 of us, whatever, now's the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we could have ever written what we did now 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Not musically, but also not lyrically. Absolutely not.
Well, that comes with life experience.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, there were songs back then, of course, because there was an EP in
Hmm.
2006. But like we were talking about backstage before the show. I listened to the EP this morning. We've both listened to both the LPs at this point, and you even made the comment. You were like, quite the evolution, huh? And I was like, yeah. So I mean, so it's crazy what 15, 17 years of just living can do
Hmm.
for lyrical content in
Yeah,
songs.
absolutely. Yeah.
So
you
I
know
wanted to ask. I noticed that Sandy's Rage had a couple of appearances on a Malevolence record compilation. So were you guys ever involved with Malevolence at all? Or
That's a question that I know Kenny, our vocalist, would be better answering. I know
I guess,
he's always been in touch with Nate, I believe his name is, from Malevolence Records.
okay,
But I can't really tell you what their relationship was, of how they got together. No, sorry about that.
I got you.
oh
Well,
no,
I know you guys are listed as unsigned and independent, so I didn't know if
Yeah.
maybe at one time you guys were on that label or what happened. So
I don't believe so. I think he's always done some
just
promotion for us, sharing our music and stuff like that. But no, not as a label, I believe.
okay, good. That's good to know. And also I noticed that one of the songs was it Taste of Decay. I don't think
Hmm.
I've seen that on any of the other releases that the EP or the full length before it was on the 2013
Taste of Decay is on
company.
You Are What You Swallow.
Is it?
It's a track on You Are What You Swallow. Yeah, absolutely.
Did I
yeah,
miss it?
it's track 9.
Oh, okay. I did miss it. Sorry.
Yep, yeah, it's
That's
track 9.
okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm blind. Sorry. Well, there you go.
Taste of Decay is one of the songs that we we were just discussing a few days ago at rehearsal. Do we want to keep it in our new set or not? So we'll be playing it from time to time. That was the
Okay,
compromise.
good deal.
Well,
So,
I mean, you don't want to. I mean, you don't want to play the same 10, 12 songs every night. So I mean,
all
No,
right.
exactly. No,
because
no. We've
then
got a
hell,
few set lists. Yeah,
yeah. Well, hell, I mean, because you play the same set list every night, that shit's gonna start feeling like work, and it's gonna be like, I don't want to play this song anymore.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So do you guys play anything that you haven't recorded? Do y'all play anything live that you haven't recorded?
No, not at the moment because
Oh,
everything that we've written has been recorded now.
okay.
So yeah, we've always been in doubt if we should be playing new songs, even when we were playing and recording at the same time. We never played anything live that we hadn't recorded yet.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
the whole idea was we want people to recognize our music. Um, yeah, it was just our way of thinking. We're not going to try out songs live. We're just going to write them, play them at rehearsals, record them, and then just air them, and we'll see what people think.
So I did notice on the both the full length records too that
Mhm.
there's always an intro. Is that something you guys just kind of if one of you guys in the band is just like that, or if Kenny just likes that, or if it's
No,
just
Just
I have no
coincidence.
idea.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we just like intros.
yeah. Well, I will say this: like sometimes I'll hear intros and it'll like lead into the next song, and it has. I'm just like, okay, what the hell was that? But you guys do have a pretty good knack of
yeah,
feeding into
they
the track pretty well.
they
So
do.
so
There
Yeah,
is a
our intros cannot be standalone songs. They have to like flow into the
yes,
yeah.
opening track of the
Yeah,
album.
I'm kind of
yes,
like that too. That's why I
Yeah,
prefer. Like, I'm not. I don't hate on them because I know different bands have different perspectives, and I'm not a musician, so I'm not going to sit here and say you're wrong. But
right. Yeah,
as a fan listening, I prefer them to kind of like blend in instead of
yeah,
just be like some kind of acoustic thing, and then all of a sudden you hear thrash guitars. Like, what the hell was
yeah.
that?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's definite build in the intro, and that goes on
mhm,
into Measure of Guilt. Um, and we've played a few shows, a few release shows now, where we had the intro just play, had the tape play, and then we would start in Measure of Guilt. But we've actually decided to start playing part of the intro as well, as we already did with the intro of You Are What You Swallow. So we're going to start doing that now because otherwise people are listening. I think it's 1 minute 40 seconds of
mhm.
music
Hmm.
without seeing us. It's not like
Yeah.
we're vain, but you're standing watching us an empty stage,
Right.
and 1 minute 40, with current attention span, as we discussed
Yep.
earlier,
That's an
that's a long
eternity.
time.
That's an
1 minute
eternity.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing that I kind of noticed when I did the review on the new record,
Hmm.
The Dead Don't Run, was the intro. Only Madness Remains. It was kind of like I was like, okay, that was interesting. And then when I got to Sanity Lies in Ruin, which is the last track,
Hmm.
it kind of like picked up where that left off. And I don't think I've ever heard a band do that before. Is that something that you guys planned on, or just
Yeah, we really chose to put "Sanity Lies in Ruin" as the last song on the album, and we've had some reviews saying that it's a strange choice, but for us it makes perfect sense because the "Crumbling Halls of Sanity" on the EP is also the last song,
Yep.
and for us, musically and lyrically. Sanity Lies in Ruin is a return to the Crumbling Halls, as we call it.
Yep.
Our working title has always been Crumbling Halls Part 2, but that would have looked
Wow.
pretty shitty, we feel,
Mhm.
on a CD. So there's a different title to it, but it's kind of a return to the Crumbling Halls of Sanity. The place where, because that's the most personal song on the entire album. The lyrics are very personal, and the way that it's brought forward is very personal. Live as well, it's a song that we were in doubt about. Is it a song that's gonna stay upright? I don't know if that makes sense in English.
It
Uh,
does. Yeah.
when we play it live, because it's a slower song and it's a very emotional song. But we've done it a few times up until now, and it's been wonderful because right
Mhm.
after the last notes, there's this fraction of silence before the crowd starts applauding and
Hmm.
yelling, and that means to us that the emotion, the feeling that we're trying to bring to them has really hit them, has really struck
Yep.
them.
Yeah.
So these crumbling halls, these halls of sanity, is it's the place, where you go when you're sick of everything. But it's also a place where you go that can drive you completely mad, because you're separated from everything, from everyone, and it's a return to the crumbling halls of sanity, just
I,
20 years ago. Yeah.
I just like when I was listening to it, I said, "Wait, this sounds familiar." And I was,
Yeah.
I was like, I kept like I listened to it a couple of times. And I said,
Mhm.
"Wait, did the first track just lead into the last track? That's kind of wild. Like I don't think I've ever heard a band do that before." And I thought it was interesting and very, very creative, in my opinion. So I didn't find anything wrong with it personally.
Yeah.
So
Well, what I like about what you the story that you just told, Tim, is
Mhm.
another reason. I mean, it's almost like the epitome of why we like to do this with a band member,
Mhm.
because I've got notes here, and the funny thing is I should have probably at least seen the tie-in,
mm-hmm.
having the notes in front of me, but I didn't until you just told the story. And now I see the tie in, because when Jason brought up the fact that the intro to The Dead Don't Run, leading into the very beginning of the last song, Sanity
Mhm.
Lies in Ruin, and then seeing, because the Crumbling Halls of Sanity, the very last song on the EP, the Crumbling Halls of Sanity is the very beginning of the progression of the
Mhm.
downfall. Sanity Lies in Ruin is the result.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
then Only Madness Remains is kind of right there in the begin, is part of the progression from, hey, the halls are falling down, there's only madness left, and now sanity is left in ruins in its wake. I should have seen the tie-in. I didn't
Yeah,
see the tie-in until you told the story. Now I see it, the beginning, the middle, and the end. So that's another great example of why we do this and why we go right to the source. I never saw it. I never saw it. I should have. It's right here. You know,
I
it,
don't know. You should have.
it's in
I
one
don't
of
know,
these.
but
Well, let me. I could have seen it myself,
perhaps, yeah.
but I didn't. But I didn't. Now I do, and now it makes total sense. But one thing, talking about Sanity Lies in Ruin, that
Mhm.
song specifically, what you just talked about, because to me, one of the notes that I wrote down is, it's a ballad. It's a quote unquote ballad. I mean, it's not all ballads are love songs, and not all love songs are ballads. So the two aren't mutually exclusive. But that's one of the things that I wrote down. One of the things that I liked about the fact that it being a quote unquote ballad is that it's still, even though it's slow, it's a
Mhm.
slower song, it's still brutal, but it has a beauty to it at the same time. So you
Yeah.
talking about when you guys play it, and then there's that little pause before the crowd reacts. And I was shaking my head I was nodding my head when you were talking about that, because I totally felt the same way. Because I mean, it is the emotion of it does have to kind of sink in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was like nodding my head, like I
Yeah.
can absolutely see that, because that's the way I felt about it when I listened to it. So you saying you were reading reviews talking about it's a strange place to put it, I disagree. I absolutely disagree. I don't think it would have worked as well if it was in the middle of the album somewhere. I think putting it at the end was a perfect spot for it.
Yeah.
It was an
Yeah.
absolutely perfect spot for it. I thought the placement was fantastic.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
very,
but
very creative. I thought it was a very creative.
yeah, yeah. I mean, having the intro, obviously the intro at the beginning, because that's what an intro is, but then having it kind of lay over into the last track. I mean, that is a very cognizant thought.
Mm-hmm.
There's very, very deliberate thought going into, all right, the intro's here, but track 10 is going to be at the very, very end, but we're going to have a little bit of leftover from the intro to
Yeah.
the intro to that song, which is the outro to the album. That was that's borderline brilliant tracking, if you ask me.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. It's funny that you should mention the word ballad, because we have been talking about writing a ballad for years and years, and our vocalist has an aunt or an aunt who would be very happy with a ballad. So this is as close as we're going to get, I think, to a ballad and to the approval of his aunt.
Yeah. I don't think it's like Chris said, people call things ballads, and then we're just like, well, the ballads we kind of grew up on were kind of glam metal ballads,
Yeah,
so it's a
true.
lot
Yeah,
different, than
true love songs. Yeah.
than like Metallica's, or Cemetery Gates or whatever people consider ballads for bands. It's just kind of like people are like, oh, that's I like that ballad. I'm like, dude, that's not a ballad. What are you talking about? It's like it's slow for them, but it's not
It's
a
Well,
ballad.
slower and softer than everything else, so
and
let's call
that's
it a ballad.
Exactly.
and
Yeah. So,
that's why I usually and I don't like air quotes. I don't like them, but you
But
have
you've
to.
used a few over the last hour.
Yeah, I know I have, and I've caught myself doing it. I want to slap my own hand, like stop it. But it's still because Sanity Lies in Ruin. It's not, of course, like I say, it's not a ballad because it's not a love song, but it's also not up tempo either. It's
No,
it's
exactly.
down it's down tempo, but it's dark. But like I said, there's a brutality and a beauty of it at the same time because the two can coexist. They absolutely can.
Mhm.
Chris finds himself doing air quotes, so he's like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah. Apparently I do. I just throw up air quotes. That's what I do. So
Uh,
apparently I know exactly what to do with my hands.
yeah. So, I guess we're going to keep praising Kenny here because I know one of the things we always like to talk about is album
Mhm.
covers, and I know this one here. I'd like to. Well, we'll try to share this so we can kind of get a
Well,
everybody.
the funny thing, I mean, before we get too far into it, like the funny thing about it is knowing that Kenny has done all that. Like if you go to Spotify, obviously, the entire catalog is there, but
Mhm.
they also have, I mean, you guys did cover art for all of the singles,
Oh
Sanity
yeah,
Rage, The
Yep.
Final
Yep.
Exhibit of Pain, Nothing Sacred Will Hold, Measure of Guilt. So I mean, you guys did cover art for like all of the singles and everything too. So I mean, not only
Yep.
is not only is the EP art and the LP art there and done really well, but I mean, one, two, three, four. You got four singles that you guys also did cover art for. So I mean, it's all really well. It's all there and it's all really well done.
We
But
actually have cover art for every song on the album. Over the last 10 weeks, we've been doing this artwork Friday, where on social
nice.
media we've been talking about where every song comes from, what it means to us, what the lyrics mean, and additionally what the artwork means. Because every artwork for every song is closely related to what the song is about.
Now, see, that
So
is
that's really worth a read.
and I will, and that's actually something that, and of course, obviously, not every band is going to have time to do that, but that's something that you very, very seldom see. But that is awesome
there it
to
is.
do that. And what I tell you what we'll do, we'll read it and we'll actually share it because
All right, thanks.
we'll share them because act a little bit ago I saw that you guys asked to join the group. So now that you guys are in the group, we'll share that with everybody in the group. But I mean, to get the background, like we've said, from directly from the source, and this is where our mindset was, and this was the inspiration, and this is what came of it. So here you are.
Hmm.
We hope you enjoy it. So I like that.
So here is that artwork for I'm gonna blow it up here so we can kind of
Yeah.
talk about it. But so very very detailed. I think the colors kind of are perfectly done. There's no clashes or anything there. So, but Kenny did design this, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. It's
and
all his hand in it. Yeah,
that's unreal, dude. Like he's multi-talented guy. I'm guessing.
absolutely. Yeah.
So, but but
Now
do
is
you,
is the emblem on the flag something that's been around, or is that something that's new to the album cover? Because I mean, you guys have your font. It's on the album cover. It's on
right?
the
Mhm.
shirt and everything. So the font is everywhere. But is this? I was looking at this earlier. I was like, this emblem on the flag, is that a new thing? Did he just come up with that, or is that something that's been around?
Yeah, it's been around. We use them for all kinds of stuff. We have like guitar picks with those emblems on them.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Um,
All right.
so our the way we dress up the stage. I don't know how you say it.
Yeah.
These emblems or sigils also come back in our stage thing.
Okay. All
Like for
right.
instance, the kick drum will
Ah.
have like one of those sigils on them as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
That
it's kind
now.
of something that is easily recognizable.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
So then I take it that's original from Kenny as well. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
See, well, and that's another thing. Having talent like that in house, it's something that it takes time, sure, to do that, but
Absolutely. Yeah.
it doesn't cost extra money to have somebody
It
with
doesn't
that
cost extra money, and you're
talent.
sure that all the artwork really connects to the music and the lyrics.
Mhm.
If someone else is doing it, you can send them all the lyrics, and they'll probably make up some good artwork, definitely. But it's still something else if it's your own vocalist that is drawing up stuff
Right.
after he's written the lyrics. He knows perfectly what he wants to show,
Exactly.
you know, in his stories. Yeah,
Yeah. I just like the detail as far as little things caught my eye. Like a lot of times when you see you kind of into the apocalypse type things, you don't see any birds flying in pictures. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's kind of like,
Yeah,
oh, that's interesting that he's gotten down to details like that, and even with the toxic waste at the bottom there,
yeah.
spilled on the ground with even the dogs or something. It almost. I don't know. Like the dog thing kind of reminded me of Resident Evil a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So,
Yep. And there's even more to say about those details because Kenny, the guitar player, once made a promise to his kids that if he was going to make another album, he would put his picture on the cover. And they are in the cover.
oh wow,
His two kids are somewhere hidden in the cover of the album.
oh wow. Now
Yeah.
it's going to be like a
An East, an
sinking
East,
search now.
it's an Easter egg hunt.
It's an Easter egg.
Easter
Yeah,
egg, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's pretty
yeah.
cool. That's
You got
pretty
to
cool.
zoom in quite a lot, but they're there.
All right, hang on.
Now he's going to have to. Chris is like, I got to find it now. But I thought it was even like I don't know if is that supposed to be a tour bus maybe or
Oh, I don't know where the bus came from, to be
I
honest.
don't. I just seen it
I
had
have
like
no
a
idea.
it
Looks
had like
cool
a
though.
name. It had like another
It
name on
does.
it or whatever. So I thought, man, maybe that's a tour bus or something. But
Yeah. No, and
I
we
just
have the skeletons, the creepy guys walking around, and then the skull on the flag. Um, he actually has a name. That's Roger,
okay.
because we were once announced, or was it a review? I can't really remember. It's quite a while ago. We were Sanity's Roger. I
Oh
think
my
I think
god.
I think it was a radio show or something where we were announced as Sanity's Roger, and the joke actually stuck, and we started calling him Roger.
That's what you call leaning into the skid right there. I
That's
like
right.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. You got a good rogering.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. That's
So
actually
I'll give you a hint on where those two kids are. They're looking at you from behind a window.
Ah.
I know
I don't
window.
know if you guys have time for this right now, but
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. I'll
We,
make
we,
I'll make
we,
time. I'll
we've
make
made
time at some
we've
point.
done a lot worse with our time. So,
This is true. This is true.
I
uh,
do believe you.
The funny thing is we're talking about the artwork.
mhm.
Is I haven't seen your hands do any typing, but somebody from Sanity's Rage in the
Yeah.
chat on YouTube said the artwork for the intro ties into the one for the last song too.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Okay.
one of your friends is
Hmm.
probably watching us right now. So
Okay. I don't know if that's good to know or
that's true.
So is he saying it ties into the artwork for the Sandy Lies
yeah,
in Ruin?
Yep,
yeah.
I think so.
And
Yeah.
Okay.
the artwork for the intro was originally meant to be the cover art as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but somehow, yeah, I don't know,
And I guess
somehow along the way we
that's from
decided to
your
go
from your
this
guys'
one.
artwork Friday post, I guess. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we're gonna post those. We're gonna post those artwork Fridays, and
I'm actually
we'll
going.
we'll start with Only Madness Remains and work our way down.
All right,
But
great, thanks.
but
No.
yeah, so we're gonna check those out, and then after we do that, we'll share them with everybody because that's a cool thing that you guys do. I I
Well, there's the from the October 17th. The
Yep, that yeah, that's for track 10.
That's pretty wild, man.
Yeah.
That's just like some unreal, like I don't know, like I wouldn't say it's like I guess it is stuff I haven't seen before, but not like topic wise, it's not. But I think for the in depth detail part, it's pretty wicked. I
Hmm.
like it. So
Yeah. Now
Yeah,
is
I
Kenny
would
has
like
always concluded his talk about the songs with what you should see in the artwork and why this artwork represents the whole song.
yeah, that's
So
pretty cool.
the bottom paragraph will always be about the artwork.
nice. So I mean, is this Kenny's job? Is he a graphic designer by trade? Is that what he does?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. All right. All
yeah.
right. Well, hell,
That's like
that. Well, shit. That's
and
definitely
that's
why.
another thing is like we've talked to so many bands that have double duties within the band. Either whether it be that or whether they have their own recording studio or whatever the case may be. It's always like you almost have to in this day and age to
Yeah.
save money to do because a lot of the times we talk about this a lot where where they you know how much something costs per hour or per week or whatever for recording or how much it costs to I know how much it costs to get artwork done. I just paid for I haven't yet, but I got a receipt, a bill in my inbox where I paid for our design from last year. I haven't got done yet because I've had a lot of medical issues, but
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it's there, it's done. But it's just like I know how much it costs, and it's not cheap. So it's like
Exactly.
for
Yeah, yeah,
him to be
absolutely.
able to do that is saving a lot of money, especially when you're talking about pressing it onto a bunch of records, or CDs or whatever you guys are doing, which we'll get into here shortly. But uh,
Hmm.
he said, "I have a 5-year-old running around screaming. I would, or I
Yeah,
couldn't.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
got you. That's understandable.
Yeah.
I got a 5-year-old here as well, and she may or may not scream. We don't know. So
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean,
sometimes
hey,
it's just quiet, sometimes it's not.
yeah.
So
Don't feel bad, Kenny. I mean, we
we
have.
both have animals that bark a lot of times too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, my cat has run right across the screen. I don't know how many times, and so I mean, we have children and children and pets and everything else. So yeah, Kenny,
Totally
don't feel bad.
understandable.
I mean, hell, knowing that you're here and watching, and hey, chiming in when you can, it's perfect. It's totally fine,
Yeah,
man.
I
We
mean,
appreciate it.
even if somebody is there to just comment, that's cool too. 'Cause
Yeah, no, that's totally
it
fine.
gives us something else to kind of some more insight, I guess you could say. So
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
you know, so I'll ask you this: since we're talking about that, is there t-shirts in the works for that or already made
Absolutely.
or I would
Look at
love.
that.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
Okay.
you got it on.
All I could see was
Oh,
all I could see
yeah,
was
Yeah.
that's what I said. All I can say was the time.
And maybe I should show you. It's not on the cover art, but there's another Easter egg. You want to see it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just come in closer. Can you see it? That's the cover art from our EP right here.
Wait a minute. I believe you, but hold on.
That's true.
Oh, that's so cool.
I would say I never lie, but that's a lie. But it's actually there.
I'll be damned.
Yeah.
See, I love that.
Oh, that is cool.
Oh,
Oh
that
man,
is cool.
that is cool. That's
Well, the
awesome.
funny thing is now looking at the EP art again and blowing it up, it almost looks like a dystopian Bane
Yeah, yeah.
with like the the skulls on the
Hmm.
eyeballs. That's awesome, man.
Mm.
That's good shit right there.
Bane, going to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the time and amount of detail he puts into his lyrics, he puts into everything.
Yeah, and that's
That,
all.
that
That's
shows.
awesome.
Yeah,
Man,
that
I
shows.
mean
Yeah.
that's definite attention to detail right there. I can
Oh,
appreciate
for
that.
sure. Yeah, for sure. That's
I
so.
just wish I was that creative because I'm just not. I don't just some people have it, some people don't, and I just don't.
Yeah, I had a guy that I went to school with. Man, he could draw like hell, and I don't know why he never had a video is gone since you showed the art. By the way, oh, is it? Oh, how did that happen?
Is it really? Because I mean, with hell, the three of us we came back on, so
Yeah, that's weird. Let me.
Maybe there's just a little bit of a lag. Hold on a second.
Or a 5-year-old pushing buttons somewhere, as they tend to do.
Yeah, they do. Oh, he's right.
Wow, that's why. That's
That,
why our. I got to figure out why it does that because that's done that to us a couple times, and it like I was thinking maybe it just did it and I didn't notice it.
I'm gonna mute my mic for a second, and I'm gonna turn the volume up on this YouTube feed and just see if it's maybe some lag. Hang on, just a second. You guys keep going. I'm gonna mute my mic. Hang on.
Yeah, right.
I'm actually on the channel too, so. Oh yeah, okay. Well, let's see what happened with that. That's weird.
Actually, the audio has maybe a 2 or 3 5-second lag, but yeah, the video is not there on YouTube. Kenny, thank you for
Yeah, that's interesting to know.
yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, that's very strange. I mean, I guess on the plus side, we aren't showing anything that actually needs to be seen at the moment. We're just back to chatting between the three of us. So I mean, if you've been watching us, on YouTube, you should know of course you should know what Jason and I look like by now, but you also know. But all right,
Hey, that did it.
that worked. That worked.
Okay, we're back on stage.
Yep, that worked. Taking us backstage and bringing us back. That worked. So,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll have to email them about that. I don't like that.
Well,
feel
yeah.
like
I mean,
I should just go back to the way we were. Like that didn't make no sense. So.
yeah, that is very strange. But thank you, Kenny, for the heads up on that. But yeah, we are all three of us are back on YouTube now, so that's good.
Okay.
We're back.
Cool.
That is a very strange thing, though, that happened that way. But
So do you guys have any upcoming shows to kind of promote the new record or?
Yeah, well, we had our release show 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and then we have a few shows coming up at the end of the year, and then in 2006. So we're already planning that as well. And in the meantime, November will be used to shoot a music video for. I don't know if I can say that. What song? No, I'm not gonna say it.
no, that's fine.
We'll keep it as a surprise.
Yeah,
but we'll be shooting a real life music video. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's something we haven't. I don't think we've ever done that. We usually use Kenny's creativity to put something together. So I think a live video clip will be a first time for us.
Nice. Well, so I mean, we are talking about what Kenny can do and what he's done for the band. I mean, how much stuff do you guys do in house? I mean, so because we're you guys aren't on a label right now. You do have distribution, but you're not on a label. So I mean, how much DIY has gone into this band?
Everything
Everything
is DIY. Yeah. So you're talking about distribution, but at the moment we don't have any distribution. So we're doing everything. No. We actually sent 20 CDs to a shop in Osaka, Japan yesterday.
Nice.
Which is awesome, of course.
Yeah,
but everything is DIY. Everything that comes through Bandcamp, we ship them out ourselves. Yeah.
Bandcamp is a great place.
Yeah. Well, Kenny did ask me to tell you guys that you should not order CDs from the US because we just cannot ship them. Our postal services do not ship to the US if it's not a letter. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's all about.
Imports and customs and stuff like that. Yeah. So they don't even do it anymore. We tried, but they just don't do it. So buy digitally, please.
Is it on your end or our end? It's probably on our end because that would make all the sense in the world if it was on our end.
I'm afraid so. Yeah.
Is it? No. I mean that makes total sense.
It's kind of like when you missed that turn going up to Michigan and wind up in Canada. Canada's like, yeah, come on through, and then when you kind of come back, you get stripped down naked.
Yeah.
At the border, even though you just made a loop,
Yeah. They're like, yeah, you can make a U.
They just let us in. Now you're giving me shit. Yeah. I'm an American. Like,
yeah, it's like we're gonna let you make this U-turn, but
it's going to cost you 6 to 8 hours of your time.
We're going to make it worth our time to let you. So yeah, but
yeah, Yeah,
See,
so unfortunately, because we had some people ordering T-shirts as well, but we just can't ship them. There's absolutely
Damn.
no way to ship
well,
them at the
shit.
moment.
So we can't even get a shirt. God damn
I
it.
know.
Not at the
That's the
moment.
first thing I seen.
No.
I said, I know it's probably going to be probably impossible for us to ever catch a show with you guys right now, but I would love to have that
I
shirt.
would love to. Yeah,
That's
so
really
would I.
awesome.
Damn, that pisses me off, man. That
Yeah,
does. That pisses me
we
off.
try to, like I said, we don't just talk a big game. We support a lot of the people that's on the
Mhm.
on the show. I mean, we bought
Right.
albums from bands and we bought shirts and stuff. I mean, I'm wearing a shirt from one of the
Mm-hmm.
past bands that's been on the show. So I mean,
Yep.
it's something that we take to heart. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like if we're doing this to try to help promote a band, here in the States, then we're kind of like not doing our job if we're not going to the shows when they're here or
Mhm.
buying their merch or what. I mean, we gotta set an example if
Yep.
this is what we're doing.
Yeah,
So
because what you guys are doing is what keeps bands like us alive.
Yeah.
exactly, and,
When we play
and
shows, we hardly. I mean, we don't make money. We've put
right,
all our money into the CD
Yeah.
and T-shirts and everything that involves this album. So if you play shows, we try to fill that financial hole a little bit,
Sure.
so to speak. So everyone that buys T-shirts or CDs, that's where we get the little money from
Yeah.
that we get.
I
It's
can
Well,
not
I
it's
mean,
not
I can.
Spotify that's gonna pay our bills.
hell no. Mm-mm.
And I can relate because I mean that's kind of what we do. Anything merch that we do, I've made here right here in this room because I mean I
Mhm.
Yeah.
got I got my press back here. I got 3 printers. I got 2 cutters. It's an expensive venture for sure, man. I mean I
Mhm.
got probably close to $2,000 worth of equipment sitting right here in this room
Yeah.
to sell t-shirts to get that money back is probably going to take me a while. You know what I mean? So it's definitely understandable from this end. I mean, that's what I say is a lot of people don't realize how much money you got invested in what you do. Um,
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah.
so even
Well,
like you may go out and a lot of guys have told us, hey, we have to do like 4 shows to break even, and then the next 6 is all profit, but we have to do the 4 to break even. So
yeah.
it's kind of like,
Yeah.
wow,
We're
man,
not
that's
talking about
crazy.
profit yet.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not either. So trust
No.
me. Uh,
No.
so if
For love of the game is
yeah,
what
we're
it
still
is.
waiting. We're still
Yeah,
waiting on that.
absolutely.
We're still waiting on that Snickers sponsor.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but,
What we need to do is we need to make our own Snickers commercial and be like, have the commercial be like, pick a genre that's not metal and have that playing, and then like what?
right. Yeah. You're not
Right.
yourself when you're not. How much
That's
fun.
okay.
Get the dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
But
that
that's
was
exactly,
my
if
wife.
you want to make profit, then this is the genre you should not be playing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
thing is like right now we can kind of relate with that because here in the states they've announced like what they're going to do Super Bowl halftime for the NFL,
Mhm.
and like everybody's bitching, oh, this rock band and this rock band, like a lot of rock bands aren't going to do that. For one, they don't get paid. It's free publicity, which a lot of everybody's like trying to get Metallica to do the Super Bowl, but Metallica
Mhm.
don't need the money for one or the publicity. Everybody knows who
Oh,
Metallica
absolutely. Yeah.
is. So it's
Mhm.
kind of like a lot of the bands that are on there, even with who they picked. I mean, I know who he was, but I don't listen to the music, but I know who he was. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
Yeah.
people still know who these people. So I don't understand why you have to pick people that people already. I think they should. I said this too, and I think you should get at least 3 musicians, whatever genre it is, that people don't know,
Mhm.
and put them on the Super Bowl because that's where they're going to get their notoriety from, and that could be your next big star. I mean, that's better than them trying to like get on American Idol or any of the other shows. To me, it would be more publicity, and then people, if I seen a metal band on there that I never heard of, I would freak the hell out. I ain't even gonna lie. It's like,
Oh, I would too. I would
I
too.
would be
Well,
like, holy shit,
it's comparable to what Gojira was able to do
right?
in the opening ceremony of
Exactly.
the Olympic Games. That was wonderful. Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
So have
And
they made a pick yet for the halftime of the Super Bowl?
yeah, it's gonna be about Bad Bunny, I think. So,
Never heard of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's some
I
R&B artist, I guess. I don't know.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
don't know.
mean,
I mean,
they say,
I
They
know
say that
who
what's
he is. I
right.
know who he is. Couldn't tell you a single one of his songs.
And it's bad that I know who he is from acting. I don't even know him from his music.
That's where I know him from. That's where I know him from.
Okay, yeah.
So
Well,
it's
here in
kind
Belgium, that's a half an hour that we have, or 45 minutes to take a nap between.
there you
That's what.
go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
This is
Yeah,
that's pretty much.
that's what everybody says. Well,
That's
that's
what
a
pretty much
bathroom break.
everybody. I mean,
It's a
the
bathroom
funny.
break, or go get something to eat, or
I don't. That's the funny thing is, that with the exception of the people who go to the Super Bowl, I don't know that. I really don't know that a ton of people actually watch the halftime show. I really don't think people who are watching it on TV. I don't think a lot of them do. Tim, I think you're right. I think a lot of people are going to the bathroom, getting more beer, whatever.
yeah.
But I don't know.
well, the
So
bad thing is like if you just leave it playing and leave the room, it still
it
counts on
still
the Nielsen,
counts.
it still
Yes, it
counts
does.
on the Nielsen rating. So if you want to like show them that they're not playing, just change the channel for 30 minutes and then let
That's
them know
true.
like, hey, we don't like that, and then maybe they'll change their tune. But
I
yeah,
did
so
actually turn my TV off last year. Well, this year it was
yeah.
2025. Yeah,
I haven't
and
I haven't even
I took a
watched
nap.
it.
Yeah.
I haven't even watched the Super Bowl in probably 3 years. So
I can't remember the last one I watched all the way through.
I haven't
I,
even watched much football because of the political stuff. I just can't do it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, we go to concerts, we watch stuff like that to get away from that everyday life
Hmm.
thing.
yeah,
And when
that's
you're
true.
inserting it in the things that we're trying to get away from, it kind of, I don't agree with that. I think
Yeah,
it's a it's going to end up badly for them at some point, I'm sure, because everybody's going to get tired of seeing this shit over and over and over and over. I mean, I do already. So
yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah, I just want to, I just for 2.5, 3 hours, I just want to watch a game. That's all I want to do. I just want you know. I mean, I don't know what it's like over. Of course, the funny thing is with football over there. I mean, I tell you what, that's one of the things I do like about football over there is like when with the exception of halftime, there's no stoppages
No.
for commercials. That is one thing I do like about football over there. There's no commercial breaks.
No. Exactly.
That's
No.
what
And
I
it's only
like.
a 15-minute break in between two halves.
Yeah, so that is one thing I do like about football over there is like, it's 45-minute half, of course, with the exception of the injury time that they
Hmm.
tack on. But so I mean, it could be anywhere from like 45 to 50 minutes, then they go
Yeah.
halftime and then you get
Exactly.
another solid 45 to 50 minutes before the game ends. That is one thing I do like. Over here it's like, American football over here, they'll kick off. Then it's like, all right, now we're gonna set up for just the Patriots to have the ball, but we'll be right back. Okay, it's first down. Okay. Now New England's gonna punt, so they punt. Okay, now Green Bay has the ball, but we'll be right back. It's like Jesus Christ, would you cut it
Exactly.
out with the
Yeah.
commercial?
sometimes I wonder, like a lot of times, like you'll see a game that doesn't have any like a lot of flags thrown, and they'll mention that, and then like toward the end you'll start seeing all these flags thrown, and then you'll start seeing the commercials. I'm just like, oh,
Exactly,
it almost makes me think, oh, they got to get their commercials in. They're just throwing
exactly.
flags to get their commercials in because they
Well,
got a contract with whoever
Yeah, absolutely.
they got to
Yeah.
show it 6 times or
yeah.
whatever.
Well, the funny thing is like talking about like when I'm watching a hockey game, hockey's divided into 3 periods and they're 20 minutes long. Well,
Hmm.
they have their TV timeouts built in at the 14-minute, 10-minute, and I think 6-minute mark. But there are some times where the flow of the game, the same thing, where you'll have, when the game starts and the puck drops, sometimes the game flows so well that maybe the first stoppage of play is maybe like 18 minutes, but then you'll have something where the game plays so long that they don't have a whistle until way past till like almost the like 11-minute mark, which means that they already missed their first TV timeout window. What they do is they basically truncate it, and then we're like, all right, well now we have a commercial break, and now we have a commercial break. So it's American football is the worst. It's absolutely the worst as far as commercials go. It's so dumb. So
Overpaid. I always say overpaid and underplayed. That's what it's.
yeah, and yeah. So but
Yeah.
that is one thing that I do at least appreciate about football over there and on your guys' side of the pond over there is like when the game is going, you're watching the game and that's it. And so I can at least appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I
Well,
can't
that's because
I can't speak to how many commercials you get during halftime, but at least you don't get any during gameplay. So I can at least appreciate that.
that's
Oh, we
because
have a lot of analysts who start analyzing the game
Because I'd
for
rather
15
watch.
minutes. We
I'd
don't
rather
watch that
watch.
either.
Right.
I'd rather watch that than
Yeah,
comedy.
absolutely.
I'd rather watch that than the
Like
commercials.
commercials.
I
Yeah.
think if you were in a pub and they started playing commercials, everybody would probably riot in there. So
Start chucking beer at the TV.
yeah, it's like turn that shit off, turn the game back on.
Actually, it would probably be empty mugs because they wouldn't waste the beer. So,
Well, that's true. That is true.
Oh no, 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 no.
give me another mug. I gotta huck this one at the TV.
And if any, the Belgian beer we drink is anything like they putting out over there,
It's not. I guarantee
I'm
you it's
sure they
not.
got. I'm sure theirs is a lot better. But I'm just
I
saying the
guarantee you
Belgian
it's
beer
not.
here is pretty good. So
I guarantee you it's not because I guarantee you because we bastardize everything over here. You know we
well,
do.
that's true. That's true.
So any Belgian beers over here are going to be watered down. The alcohol content's going to be lower and everything else. I guarantee
Well,
you.
it has it has to be as for regulation
Yeah, so I
standpoint.
guarantee you it's not the same. I mean, hell, the Molson Canadian beer that you get when you go from Detroit to Windsor, you can buy Molson Canadian beer on both sides of the river. The Molson Canadian you buy over in
Mhm.
Windsor is going to be a hell of a lot stronger than the Molson Canadian you buy in Detroit. I guarantee you, absolutely
Mhm.
guarantee you.
We'll
Well,
have to put
speaking
that
of
to a test.
what's that?
So we ought to put it to a test. So.
Well, I'm not going to, you know that, but I've just heard stories. But speaking of, the home country over there, Tim, we've had another guest. I guess it's been maybe about a year and a half, 2 years since we've had a Belgian band on. But so since we are talking to you over there, talking about the home country, how has the scene over there treated you guys in general? The metal scene.
Um, we did have the feeling that when we got back together, that we had to prove ourselves from scratch again.
Mm-hmm.
We don't blame anyone for it.
Sure.
We've been absent for quite a while. So even now we're still building a name by emailing venues and organizers, and so as we said before, we're doing everything ourselves. We have
Sure.
one very friendly girl who helps us in managing all of this stuff. But yeah, it's like I wouldn't say we had to start from scratch because the name stayed around throughout the years.
Okay, that's good.
So for a lot of people the name does ring a bell. But yeah, we have to build again. Yeah, that's basically it.
So how you guys had the release shows and everything, and you guys have got some shows coming up. I mean, how far out into Europe have you guys been able to go this go around? I mean, have you guys been able to traverse the entire country at this point, or I mean, since the reunion, has it kind of been a little more localized? I mean, how has the travel actually been?
Well, as you know, Belgium is divided into, well, three parts actually, but two main parts. We have the Flemish speaking
Hmm.
part, and we have the French speaking part.
Yep.
And in the Flemish speaking part, it's rather easy to get around. But right now, we're trying to get into the French speaking part, which also has a very good metal scene. But it seems hard for us to put our foot down there. As far as Europe goes, in the history of Sanity's Rage, we've played Germany, France, the Netherlands, the UK, and we've played Birmageddon 2 times.
Okay.
And then Slovenia would have been, the furthest away from home we would have gotten. So we hope that does happen again someday because it's a wonderful festival.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let
we'd like
me
to play it.
let me add, this was something I never would have even thought to have asked until you brought it up. But um, over here in North America, and my father's side of my family came to the United States from Montreal,
Mhm.
and Montreal is francophone first. They speak
Yeah.
French, and then everything else is a secondary language, and so it's kind of hard to get a foothold over there if you don't speak
Speak
French
French.
at all.
Yeah.
So knowing that, and you talked about how it's harder to get a foothold in Belgium on
Mhm.
that French part of the country. Is it be so? I may be answering my own question because of what I know about Canada, but is it because because I mean, do you speak French?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm
Okay, does
fluent.
okay,
I
so
don't want to brag, but yeah, I live.
well,
The situation is more complex actually than a Flemish part and a French speaking part, because we also have Brussels,
no,
who
okay,
which is a city, our capital, obviously, but in
right,
the middle of the country, where more and more French speaking people live right now than Dutch or Flemish speaking people.
okay,
So around Brussels is it's a bit of a strange area, and I we all live very close to Brussels,
okay,
so we all speak French as well.
okay.
So if you would like to continue this conversation in French, we can do that.
I
Uh,
wish I wish I wish we could. I wish we could.
so the thing we notice is that when we actually go into the French speaking part of Belgium, a lot of them are willing and trying to speak Dutch or Flemish with us.
Okay,
The area around Brussels is a bit more special. There's it's not. Let's not talk about hate, but the Flemish speaking people, they will not be so eager to start speaking French, and the other way around. It's like,
okay,
this is my language. This,
sure,
yeah, and the
right,
city is it's a bit. It's like it's been divided a little bit.
yeah.
And there's this. Yeah, I can't call it hate. It's not hate, obviously, but yeah, there's this sentiment of sort of resentment, perhaps,
Is
between the
it
two languages in our capital. Yeah.
is it maybe like a little as far linguistically? You think maybe a little bit of xenophobia? Like I'm from the French part, so this is what I speak, and if you come here, because that's what I'm saying. Because I mean, you got
Yeah.
obviously everything lyrically is written in English, of course. So and over here, like I was talking about with a lot of the hockey players in Montreal, a lot of the the players on the team who aren't Canadian, who aren't French by whether it's by birth or by ancestry or whatever. If
Mhm.
like if you're an American born player and you get drafted to play in Montreal, sometimes a lot of the press gives that particular player shit if they aren't at least trying to learn
Yeah.
French, because like I say, in Montreal we speak French and everything else is secondary. So
Mhm.
with the lyrics being in English, if you go to the French part of the country, do you, is that the difficulty? Because like I say, foreign-born hockey players face some of that same scrutiny when they go to Montreal because it's a French first country and city. So is
Well,
that maybe a factor? The
what we
English
see
thing?
what we see in the southern part of the country is that French is obviously their first language,
Right.
but English has become their second language.
Okay, so it wouldn't be
Yeah,
hate.
yeah. So, for instance, in our schools, our kids, they go to school in Dutch and Flemish. Their second language is French, so they learn French at school.
Hmm.
In the French part of Belgium, kids can choose between English and Dutch.
Okay.
So there's a big difference between those two parts of the country. Yeah. So we have a
Sure.
lot of kids in the French speaking part that are just not learning Flemish or Dutch anymore.
Okay. All right. Well,
Because
then
English
that's
is,
good.
is
That's
the
good.
language in which everything is done right now. Social media, everything is in English.
Right.
Netflix, whatever, it's all in English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you have actually probably a pretty decent population over there that's trilingual at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Uh,
Nice. Well, that definitely makes it easier. And of course, that does rule out, well, like I said, everything being written in English. That definitely wouldn't be a factor there. So, I mean, then what do you attribute the difficulty being in that finding the footing in that part of the country then? Any idea? I mean, any guesses, any theories?
it's hard to say. What we do see in the scene these days is a lot of venues, a lot of organizers expect bands to be happy to be given a stage, and
Oh,
when we talk about our fee, which basically covers our transportation to the
sure.
venue, and just trying to fill that financial hole that we have,
Right.
not even making profit, we see that we actually had to lower our fee, which is bit strange if you've just released a new CD, but we are
Right.
actually lowering our fee just because we want to play live and we want to bring our music, on a stage.
Right.
So instead of raising the fee because you got a new album out, we're actually lowering the fee because we want to be able to play as much as possible.
Right.
So that is, I think, We sent out our emails, hundreds of them, and they're all in English. No matter if it's in the Flemish-speaking part or French-speaking part, it's always
Sure.
in
Okay.
English.
Hmm.
First response that you get is, "What's the fee?" And then you start talking about fees, and then, oh yeah, but yeah, we always we don't ask for entry, so people can come and watch the show for free. So we cannot really give you any money, and we're not in it for the money. But once again,
But everything costs money to get there. Exactly.
exactly,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like if if a venue is saying, "Hey, we're not charging people," then you should have an idea that that's on you. I mean, you should still pay the band to play because the band didn't say, "Hey, I want to
yeah.
play here," you know,
But there
because
are so many bands out there. If we say, "Well, we're not going to play for free," then they'll just find another band that will.
Well,
yeah,
that's
that's
true.
true.
And I mean, sometimes I step into the trap of getting worked up about it, and I sometimes say, we are not 16 years old anymore.
Right.
When we would play for 24 beers and a sandwich with cheese, and these are things that we do not do anymore.
Right.
We have to explain at home that we'll be gone again for a whole evening and whole night,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
buying
Yeah.
too many guitars and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we gotta account for that.
Everyone has people to answer to now. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
so
I've
funny.
I've ran into those situations in my past as well. So I was, had people, reach out to me, and at the time I was pretty predominant in my sport, and
Hmm.
be like, "Hey, can you come to Georgia, and how much would you charge?" And I'll figure out how the distance is or whatever, and I say, you know, if it's a 4.5 hour drive or something, I'll say, "Hey, I'll do it for 150." And then just be like, "Oh no, it's too much." I'm like, "Well, motherfucker, I'm not doing this for free. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you want somebody from free, then you go pull them from your local,
Yeah.
YMCA or something. I'm not,
Right.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm at this time mainly because I'm kind of known in the area for one, or these people wouldn't be reaching out to me. I'm like,
Right.
Hmm.
that's what I looked at it for. I didn't reach out to you. You reached out to me. So obviously you wanted me on your show. Then obviously you didn't want it that bad. So
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if I hear you're asking for 150 euros for a 4.5 hour drive, that's not exaggerated, to be honest. So,
yeah,
No.
yeah.
And
No,
that's the thing
I
is,
thought it was reasonable because I was looking at
absolutely, yeah,
how much gas it cost and then my time, and like if I come out making $50, then that's better than nothing.
yeah. That's the exact calculation that we always do. We start by looking how far is it. Can we cram everything into two cars? Okay, two cars. Time the mileage, time the gasoline costs, and
mhm,
then perhaps a little surplus.
yeah.
Right.
After all the investments, and sometimes even that's too much for organizers of venues.
I will say one thing though. That's the difference between over there and over here. You're not going to find a venue that's not going to charge you to come in.
No, not over here.
Yeah, we
No.
have loads of them here, and I mean it's good because it's good in a way because you get more people to your
Sure.
venue,
Yeah.
which is a good thing.
It is.
They all drink their drinks, but
Yeah.
you just cannot expect the band to play for free.
No, and good on you guys for. Granted, it sucks to have to make that sacrifice, but at the same time, good on you guys for not operating in the red just to play.
Hmm.
Even though getting up on stage is important,
Yeah, yeah, it's
well, I
what we
totally
love most.
understand
I
that.
mean, to
But
be honest, recording is we dread it. We don't like it.
a lot of people, yeah, a lot of
we,
bands
we,
have
we
said that.
love writing music and writing new songs and playing together, but especially playing live, man. Being on stage with those five guys together and bringing those new songs
Yeah,
to the crowd. That's what we love to do. Not being in a studio. That just had to be done.
yeah. Right. Well, I mean, that's the work you put in
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
to get the payoff of being able to play the show
yeah,
to
yeah,
play
yeah.
the
It's
songs
it's
live.
it's necessary. You have
Yeah,
to do this. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So let me ask you this: do the venues there have a capacity limit too? Or
A capacity limit.
Like for fire codes and stuff like that. I mean,
like if you go
Yeah,
into a like if you go into a
yeah,
bar and they'll say, "Oh, well, you can't have more than 200 people in here."
yeah.
Or,
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah,
okay,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know if it
Yeah.
was like that there
Yeah.
too. I was going to say maybe that's the reason why they do free. We charge because they're trying to keep things to a
Mhm.
a safety minimum. So
well, I mean, I don't. I tell you what, I would. That's the thing though. I was just about to say I would go to more shows if they were free. Of course, I would if they were free. But at the same time, when like we have a friend of ours who organizes shows, and we've gone to quite a few of those, and we've actually live streamed from a lot of them.
Mhm.
Normally when we go to his shows, we do live stream the shows because he's putting on bands that are trying to make a name for themselves. And there's been a couple of times where we've literally live streamed a couple of bands first ever live performance. There's been a
Mhm.
couple of bands who
Okay.
have never been on stage before, and then the first time they've played live, we've live streamed the show. So there's been a couple of times that we've given bands, their first internet exposure when our friend is giving them their first live exposure. But I mean, even then, when we go to his shows, he only charges $10 for like 4 or 5 bands, and I'll pay that every time.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
will pay that
absolutely.
every time. And I don't know what the exchange rate is from dollars to euros. I'm sure it's pretty close to 1 to 1. But I mean, even if it's 10 or 15 euros, I'm going to pay that to go see a metal show.
Yeah,
I will pay that to go see a metal show without even thinking about it. Because I mean, you know, I've paid triple digits to go see a show before. I'm definitely going to pay $10 to $15 or euros to go see a show if I'm willing to pay $100 or 110 or 20 euros, whatever the exchange rate might be. So I'm willing to pay to go see a show, and I know a lot of people are. So I mean, it's cool that there are venues that don't charge that. I mean, it's cool, but at the same time, for this, I think for the sake of the bands like you guys who literally just want to, we'll come down and we'll play if you pay us basically, if basically just for us to be able to make it down there. Like you
yeah,
say, you figure in a little bit of surplus maybe to get a bite to eat or something, but you know, let us come, let us drive from Belgium to France, from Belgium to wherever, whichever direction you want to go in. Just make sure that we can afford to get there and get
yeah,
back. That's
exactly.
all we're really.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
That's the
it's
thing is,
break even is all we're asking for, to be
yeah,
honest.
you're
If we're
not
playing
even
internationally, that's the deal we make. We just wanna break even. That's it.
right. Yeah. So I mean, hell, it's just like in gambling, breaking even is winning. So I mean,
That's yeah.
as long as we're, you know, going and coming back with the same thing we started with.
Mhm.
I don't think any band that asks that, especially if they're doing all the legwork themselves, is being unreasonable. I just don't get it.
Yeah, since we're talking about that too, is there? So I know you guys haven't probably did an abundance of shows because of all the hiatuses and everything. But is there a bigger name band that you guys gotten to play with or share the stage with?
We have. It's been a while. It's actually from before the hiatus. We had Las Rocket that we played with,
Nice.
and of course we've that was a smaller show, it's a club show, but we've played the Alcatraz festival twice. So that's one of
Nice.
it's like the second biggest metal festival in Belgium. So
Nice.
of course I could say that we've shared the stage with Testament, but you know it was a festival. But I'm gonna say it anyway. Yeah, we did share the
That's
stage
no,
with
hey,
Testament.
that still counts.
I mean, if
It
you
does
were on
count.
the same
No,
stage,
that absolutely counts. Yeah.
yeah,
Anyone who says otherwise is I think lying to themselves. I mean, you were on the same festival ticket as Testament. As far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned, it
exactly.
counts.
Yeah, yeah.
that's pretty
That
cool. So,
absolutely counts.
so another thing that we like here personally is any good stories, and it doesn't have to be with Sanity's Rage. It could be
Mhm.
with any other band you play with. Is there anything that kind of through your career a story that has stuck with you, or whether it be funny or serious, it doesn't really matter. We just
Well, I actually just got out of playing in a punk rock tribute band. Um, that was, but it was a project that had been running for more than 10 years. So we played like NoFX and Blink 182 and
oh
Rancid
Okay.
covers.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So all the wild stories would actually be from that band.
That's fine.
Punk rock, But I do remember it was one of the first shows that we played with Sanity's Rage. It was not far from here. And it was really cool. It was really underground because it was actually underground. It was a cellar that we were playing
Oh,
in, and our drummer at the time was setting up his drums, and we were ready to sound check. And he had this feeling that something was like hitting him or scratching him in the back of his head all the time. And apparently, out of the ceiling, there was this large nail sticking out. So he
Oh
had to play.
no.
Oh
He had to
God.
play the whole show, like a little bit bent over, in order not to scratch his head or like get it completely opened up in the back.
Oh my
So that
god.
was one of the first epic story, obviously. But
It,
besides
it
that,
could have been.
it
Yeah.
could have been.
Just
Yeah, yeah,
head banging and
yeah,
smack. I
yeah.
can't. I can't. I can't do it.
Exactly. Yeah. If it would have gotten stuck on that nail, my story would have been so much better
Hmm.
today.
Not
Yeah,
for
that's right.
not for him.
Yo, whatever.
No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no,
Not for him.
no. We would have had a laugh probably, but
Oof. Yeah.
yeah. No. Besides that, I think we've grown calmer with age. Our shows. We really pay a lot of attention to details. As you said before, we are DIY. We all have our part in the band as a musician, but we all have our part outside of that. We have our bass player, who is like the technical guy. He arranges everything from inner monitors to front of house, all that kind of stuff. So we all have our part in the band besides the music. So we don't drink before shows, for instance, something that we
Smart.
did do 20 years ago, something we don't do anymore. So the stories get less and less when you start drinking less and less.
Mhm.
But also after the shows, when you play late and you still have to drive home,
Oh
don't
yeah.
drink and drive is something we don't do that.
Right.
But as alcohol kind of makes it, I was going to say more fun, but it's dangerous to say that. The stories get better from time. I'll stick to that. The stories get better. But
Well,
yeah,
there's a funny thing is, and I've never drank alcohol, but I've been around people that have, of course. And there's like this weird gauge that starts off. Okay, nobody's drinking, everyone's drinking, everyone's having fun. Okay, now it's starting to get a little crazy. Now we might need to start winding down. And oh shit,
yeah,
the police are coming.
yeah. There's a tipping point. Yeah,
So
yeah,
there's a definite scale from where it,
absolutely.
where
Yeah,
it gets to relaxed to fun to unsafe to people are going to jail.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've never been in jail, but
Yeah. Well,
let's
that's
say
good. That's a good thing.
we've been close from time to time.
Well, that's one of those instances where close doesn't count because if you haven't been, you
Yeah.
just haven't been.
No,
So
I haven't been. No.
yeah, that's a good thing though. But again, it's just another one of those things that comes with age and experience. It's like we don't need this to have fun, and
No, absolutely,
we
absolutely.
and it's obviously the drinking and driving thing is a headache that nobody wants. So I
No.
mean, but and when you're in your 20s, you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof, and then when you get to be your late 20s, you're like, all right, maybe I should start calming down. Then you get into your 30s, and it's like, all right, now, especially when you have kids, it's like, all right, now I'm an example, and just so I mean, so it
Well, I
just
mean, I think
the older you
it's like
get, the more shit you
I
learn.
think it's I think it's an issue of like back in the day. You see, like you was talking about earlier, when we grew up, we watched people live rock star lives, and then
Yeah,
I know I've been to a point at some point where you would be at a club or bar or something, and then you go back like the next week and some girls all over you, like, what the fuck is this? And then she's
I
like,
don't remember.
oh, we slept together last week. I'm like, what? so,
yeah,
so that's kind of like, okay, I drink too much. I gotta stop.
right.
So,
I do think that stories, like if you read, like for instance, Ozzy Osbourne's biography.
I've
oh
read
yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, I cannot imagine that those kind of things could still happen nowadays.
right. Yeah,
I don't
Oh
know.
well, no. I mean, I don't think you can get away
That's
with a lot of that stuff
impossible. Or
now.
the
So
way Mötley Crüe would destroy hotels, I don't see that happening anymore.
no,
no.
no, a label would drop you in a heartbeat doing shit like that nowadays,
Absolutely.
man.
Oh
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, which if you haven't read Ozzy's biography, I highly recommend it. I have it up. I have
Absolutely.
it on my
Yeah.
bookshelf right now. It's very good. So
Actually, just watched that documentary over the hair metal years and stuff.
I
And
still need to watch that.
one of the I can't remember if he was a man. I think he was a band manager that was on there, and they asked him, what was your biggest success as being a band manager during that era? And he said, nobody died on my watch. I was just like,
Yeah.
I mean, you may have a
There you
point
go.
here.
Yeah,
So,
There you go.
absolutely.
I would chalk that up to a win.
yeah,
I
yeah,
absolutely would. Because even if like half the stories are true, the whole Ozzy Osbourne Motley Crue, like the ant sniffing thing, even if that, like shit like that, if half of that stuff is remotely true, then yeah, it would be an absolute win if nobody died on his watch.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I mean, Jesus, just the drugs and alcohol. Good Lord, I mean,
But you
it
see how
just,
it plays in their career this late in their age too. I mean,
yeah.
with Vince having strokes and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure all the years of abuse to his body's done that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I guarantee I would be like, if you would have told Ozzy back in his 20s or 30s, hey, you're gonna live to be almost 80, he would have been like, you're fucking full of shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure. I think I seen that show where he was actually on with his son, like in a podcast or whatever, and he was saying something about that. He's just like, yeah, I'm lucky to be here,
Yeah.
from the stuff that I've done,
Yeah.
and he actually was thanking God for it, which was kind of, wild to me because people were asking about, well, I hope he's right with God. I said, well, he was mentioning it on a podcast, so obviously he's got some kind of belief there.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, there's that one line, and it gets me through. He's not. I'm not the kind of person you think I am. I'm not the Antichrist or the Iron Man. So I mean, he's like,
right. Well, I mean, that's the same way as we go. That's kind of where we go back talking about how, these news sites and publications kind of portray a band a certain way when they're not. Kind of like going back to Tom Araya talking about, with Slayer, and he's, they're like, no, we're not devil worshippers, but if we can put a pentagram on every album and sell 1,000,000 albums, I'm gonna put a pentagram on an album. It's like, you're trying to sell music, and if that's what's selling the music, then so be it. So, but,
yeah. I mean, I don't know if if I'm Tom, I don't know if I go around saying that, knowing it's, just using the symbolism to make money. But
well, I mean,
it is what it is.
This was like an interview right before they retired. I mean, it's like 2015, 16 or something when I seen that. So I mean, he's already made all his money off of it anyway.
Well, that's true, and I guarantee you, and the funny thing is when we were at Louder Than Life, there weren't people that left the fairgrounds before Slayer got on. So I mean, no, nobody left before Slayer got up there.
Well, Tim, man, I know we're going to wrap this up here in just a second, so I just wanted to appreciate you joining us and everything. And then if you want to take real quick, tell everybody how they can find you guys on your socials or emails or whatever you want to promote real quick.
Plug away, sir.
All right. Yeah, right. Well, first of all, I want to thank the both of you for having me and having us on the show. It's great. I mean, I'm looking at the clock and nearly 2 hours have passed.
Yeah,
that's not how it feels. So thank you very much.
Which is a huge compliment for us because it
that's what we shoot for.
Right, and because it never feels, whatever amount of time is on the clock, we feel the same way. But it is a huge compliment for us when bands say that, because like Jason said, we do shoot for a relaxed, just kind of hanging out and shooting the shit kind of feel. So thank you for that. We do appreciate that. But.
Well, you're very welcome. Well, as far as promotion goes, you can find everything on Spotify. So starting from the EP, You're What You Swallow album, and then the new album, That Don't Run, is available on Spotify and all the other major streaming platforms that I shouldn't be mentioning because, everyone knows about them. Furthermore, we got Facebook because we're old farts. So we have Facebook.
Yeah, same.
And then Instagram, because we try to keep up. And then, believe it or not, but we have a TikTok, but that's not working. We have like 29 followers. So I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm doing there. So I just
don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
No.
We have one, and I do something once a week, and that's
I just
we get.
Post the same things that I post on Facebook and Instagram on TikTok, but it doesn't work there. I have no idea what I'm doing. I could ask my daughter, but I don't think she would care. So
I am baffled by TikTok's algorithm. I don't understand it. I mean, like I say, I don't do shit every day because I don't have time. But I mean, we're like I say, I post once a week. So I mean, we're consistent.
I sent you that thing about that where because I do personal stuff on there, comedic wise, and then they'll sent me a thing a while back, and said, hey, you can increase your followers by like 1,600 for $9.99 or something.
Yeah, no, I'm not paying.
I want you to pay for followers, and it's like, well, why would I do that?
Yeah,
Because
we get these ads and we get messages from people, who want to promote our music, and but most of them are hoaxes, of
I
course.
mean,
yeah,
hell, we got one in the chat from Twitch right now. It's on somebody in the best viewers in this list.
you're
All
right.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
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 it's right.
yeah.
It's right here. I'm looking right at it. So yeah, we got one from Twitch in the chat right now. So
yeah. And I'm not about all that. Twitch is not one of our prominent viewing standpoints, but I do have it because I know a lot of people do. Some people do watch it.
yeah,
So, but most of
we
our
yeah
stuff, YouTube, Rumble. I think
Yeah.
Rumble's got more followers than any of them. But
yeah
Well, if people wanna support Sanity's Rage, I think it's important to follow our pages, Facebook,
absolutely.
Instagram, TikTok if you want, but I don't know. Yeah, and mostly listen to the music, and if you got something to spare, perhaps go to Bandcamp, get a digital album. That
Yeah.
would really help us out, because that's the little bit of money that we can get from our music comes from Bandcamp, not from Spotify.
right,
That
And
doesn't work. But just
and
listen to the music, man, and spread
yeah.
it as much as you can.
And do Jason and I a favor
Uh-huh.
because we can't buy a damn T-shirt.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
You could do us a favor, get another president, and then perhaps, we could send you a T-shirt.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Uh,
Well, I mean, of course,
But as soon as we can send out packages, that's the first thing we'll do.
yeah.
We'll
Let
send
us.
some T-shirts.
yeah,
Yeah.
let them. Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely let us know, man.
Let us know when that becomes possible, and yeah,
Right.
we'll
We'll
get
do,
a
we'll
couple
do.
ordered. We'll get a couple ordered. But that's still, man. I know we already talked about it. That's still kind of boggling me. But
Yeah, it's crazy. It's not that we don't want to. I mean,
Right.
we even wanted to fill out all the forms because you can find them online. All the forms that you have to fill out to ship something to the US, but our postal services just don't do it anymore. So it's
that
crazy.
is very very weird. But
Mm.
all right, well, we'll definitely do something about that when we're able. But yeah, I mean, you get follow the social media, listen to
Yeah.
the music, buy the merch, and yeah, you guys, especially all of our thrash fans like we are, you guys will not be disappointed you won't be disappointed by any of the music, even going all the way back to the initial EP. I mean, and the funny thing is we didn't even talk about direct influences, but I mean, if you guys like Creator, if you guys like Overkill, if you like Slayer, if you guys like Testament, if you guys
Actually,
are,
we didn't, and I actually had a note about that because I was going to ask them about that because when I first heard them, Warbringer kind of came up.
Warbringer,
To
yeah,
me,
so
it's
Okay.
probably the closest band that would be to their sound.
yeah. But I mean, any of our fellow thrashers, you guys won't be disappointed. Plenty of vocal layering, plenty of cleans, plenty of growls, a little
Yeah.
bit of gutturals thrown. That's we didn't even talk about that either. Talking about the
Yeah.
fact that you guys have, technically you guys have 4 members of the band who contribute the vocals. The way you guys use, the layering, the different vocal effects you guys have, because you got the cleans, you got screams, you got growls, you got gutturals. Sometimes you have all 3 happening at once. Sometimes Kenny is singing and you got somebody doing some low tones, spoken word stuff in the background. So, I mean, you guys have your own little, vocal layering mix going on. That's pretty unique. So, I mean, but anyone who's a thrash fan is going to enjoy this. I mean, the way
Okay, thanks, man.
the drums, the guitar solos are incredible. Plenty of dueling solos, which is awesome. You can tell, hey, this one, that one. So plenty of Iron Maiden and Priest, twin guitar attack, all that good shit. So
I really do hope they get that situated because, like, I'm a hands-on guy, so I like to have hard copies of stuff. So,
oh yeah,
if there was a way to get a hold of that album, man, I would definitely love to do that. But
As soon as we can, we'll make it happen. It's a promise.
hopefully, it'll ease up soon. We'll see. But Tim, man, we appreciate you. Hopefully, best of luck to you guys. Hopefully, everything
Thank
goes
you very
well.
much. It was my pleasure.
Hopefully, y'all have a huge 2026, man. I don't see no reason. I mean, y'all have everything y'all need in place to make it to where y'all want to be for sure. So,
absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.
yeah, thanks, Tim, man. You have a good one.
Yeah, have a great
All right.
night, sir.
You
Enjoy
take
the
care.
rest of your weekend.
Likewise. See you
All right.
guys.
Thank you, sir. Nice. Man, I love just these. I we go, we have these little runs that we get on where we have, like the one we're just about to start, because
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Tim's still with us, so he could still hear us. So I mean, we had our interview with Tim today, and then we have interviews set up for the next couple of weeks, and we do have a week off coming up because you're taking a trip
Yeah.
up to Indiana. But I mean, and then we have a holiday coming up. But I mean, we should still be able to have a show that weekend too. But I mean, we get on these runs where we have these guests like this, and then stuff happens, and schedules don't work out, so we have to revert back to the classic format, which is still fun for us to do. We still enjoy it. We don't enjoy doing the classic format any less. But when we go 3, 4, 5 weeks, or however long it is between our little blocks of interviews, you know it's always a fun reminder when we get back to speaking to someone like Tim when he comes on, and we get to talk about everything we just talked about. But I mean, to get the insight and all of the backstory and all the details that go into everything that that we got to hear on the album, or all the albums, basically, going back to the EP. I always I always forget how much fun it is, how much more fun it is to talk to somebody, when we get back to interviewing somebody, whether,
Yeah.
whether it was, even if it was a week or two, you get back to having a live guest, and it's like, man, this is always so much fun to just,
Well,
just to hang out and talk to a band member. It's awesome. So
and then
much
too, and then too, when we get on these runs, it's always cool too because we're in different parts of the world when we do this.
that's
I mean,
that's
we're
still one
going
of the most,
we're going from Belgium. I know one of the ones coming up is in Cancun, Mexico. So I mean, it's kind of
it's like,
yeah, it was like we're all, yeah, it's like, well, when we say world tour, we think about stuff like what we do and talk to different bands. So like you say, a lot of times you'll see a world tour, and it's like just here in the States, and you're like, well, is that really a world tour? Like, that's
yeah,
a
right.
U.S. tour, you know.
Yeah.
So you'll
Yeah,
see,
just because,
and
yeah.
I have shirts like that. Unfortunately, that say world tour, and everything's a a U.S. state. And I'm just like, well,
Yeah.
that's really a U.S. tour, but
Yeah.
okay.
Or they have like, they call it a world tour, and they went to the States, and then they maybe went to Toronto.
Right? Yeah. So, but you're still, it could still be a North American tour. But I
Yeah.
know back in
Yeah.
the day, in the '90s when we went to shows, that's kind of you had shirts that said that North
North
American
American
tour
tour. Yeah.
or world tour. If it said world tour, it had dates on the back from like Australia or Europe or whatever.
Right.
So it is cool to get different perspectives from different parts of the world, man. Because
Yeah.
we've talked to people where you would think with bands like Lacuna Coil and stuff, Italy would be popping, but evidently we've talked to a couple of bands from over there that say no, it's hard to get Italy to open up for metal. So
Which is still very strange to know that.
yeah,
It's just odd. Because even because metal is still huge in Europe. It's still
right,
huge over there. And like what Tim was saying, earlier, they sent 20 CDs over to Japan, and Japan,
yeah,
metal is huge there too.
yeah, yeah.
So
So,
so that
all right,
is that is
guys.
that is strange to hear that parts of Europe are just a little bit more, I don't know if it's resistant. I don't know if that's necessarily it, but I mean, it's just, I guess
Love is a song.
I guess it's just hard to make a name for yourself. I don't know. It's very
Yeah,
strange.
yeah. So it's like I said, it is strange, but it's good to hear those things because, like I said, you get a misconception about certain things in the
Hmm.
industry, and it's cool to hear people that actually live through it every day and what
Yep.
they actually go through. So it's you kind of get a real life concept of what's going on.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, you kind of know everything about, well, not everything, but you know a lot about Sanity's Rage at this point. So, if you don't know a lot about us, there's one thing you should know is we have a 24/7 streaming radio station that you can listen to 24 hours a day, 7 days a
Hmm.
week over at radio.thefrontrow.net. We are Metalheads Unite down in the bottom corner there.
Yep.
There's several radio stations there, but we are on the bottom there. So
That's right. And you can follow us on all of our social media platforms. We have our Facebook group, our Facebook page. We are on X, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, our YouTube channel, and on Rumble. Follow us on Spotify for all of our playlists and our past band reviews, our past band interviews, I should say, on Spotify. And then you, as always, you can email us at metalheadsuniteusa@gmail.com. So
awesome. And just to let you guys know, we do have another guest lined up for next week. So we'll keep an eye on our socials there for the promotion of that starting on Monday. And as usual, so we always try to get that going on Monday. I usually follow up with the band over the weekend first to make sure everything's cool. I didn't do that with them, but we had been talking pretty close to this week, so I was kind of like, yeah, we're probably good. The other bands I've been sitting on for a minute, so I might want to check back with them to make sure the date's still good. But as for now, we have plans on having another band on next week. So if you want to check back in then, or to see who that is, or follow us on our socials, and you'll know beforehand.
That's right, you would. But if you're like one of those people on Christmas who wants to wake up Christmas Day and know what the presents are Christmas Day, you can always just show up at 10 o'clock on Saturday and see what's going on, and see who's who. So
that's right. All right, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed the interview. That will be cut up and posted up on Spotify in the upcoming weeks, and then I will share that with the band as well. So hopefully see you back here next week for the next interview. Until then, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.